Most people don't have a time management problem. They have a time protection problem. The time is there. It's just not being guarded. It's leaking out through distraction, through saying yes to things that don't matter, through the gap between I'll do it later and later never arriving. Managing your time isn't a productivity trick. It's an act of mental strength. It's deciding that your priorities are actually your priorities and then defending that decision every single day against everything that's trying to pull you away from it. That's what this video is about. Everything I share here is based on my own experience. Take what works for your situation and leave the rest. Most time management content is built for a different kind of person. Some with long stretches of free time, flexible schedule they can architect from scratch, a life that doesn't have competing demands, pulling at it constantly. That's not most people's reality. When your schedule is already full, when work, family, and obligations take up most of your calendar before you've made a single choice, you're not managing time from a blank page. You're trying to carve something out of what's left. The shift that actually helped me was this. Stop trying to find more time and start being ruthlessly intentional with the time that already exists. Not looking for extra hours, protecting the ones that you already have. Before you can fix anything, you need to see clearly what you're working with. A time audit is simple. Take a blank weekly calendar and block out every fixed commitment. Work, commute, family obligations, anything that happens regardless of what you want. Everything that isn't flexible. Then look at what's left. The unguarded time. The pockets in the morning, the evenings, the weekends that you've been letting drift without intention. The audit does two things. First, it replaces vague anxiety with actual data. You stop feeling like you have no time and you start seeing exactly what you have to work with. Second, you cannot build a system around time you cannot see. Once you can see your available time, the next problem is that you're probably not protecting it. Most people treat the time they've set aside for important work as the thing they'll get to after everything else is done, which means they almost never get to it. Life fills available spaces if you let it. The fix is straightforward, but requires a real mindset shift. Important work goes on the calendar like an appointment. It has a start time and an end time. It doesn't get bumped unless something genuinely urgent comes up. Then I'll work on that tonight, and I'm working on that from 7 to 9 tonight is enormous in practice. One is a wish, the other is a plan. Mental strength is what makes you treat the plan like a commitment to yourself, not just a good intention. The third piece is a weekly planning session. Sunday, about 20 minutes. Look at what matters this week. Identify the 2 or 3 things that absolutely have to get done. Check your calendar blocks. Set your priorities before the week starts instead of figuring them out in the middle of it. This habit alone has had a massive impact on how in control I feel day to day. Instead of the week happening to me, I'm walking into it with a plan. That's not a small thing mentally. 20 minutes on Sunday saves hours of reactive stress during the week. Time management only works if you're also managing your energy. You can block out 2 hours for important work, but if you do it when you're completely drained, you'll sit there and accomplish almost nothing. The time is there. The mental capacity is. Start paying attention to when you're actually sharp during the day. For most people, there's a pattern, a window where their thinking is clearer, focus comes more easily, and output is higher. Protect that window for your most important work. Move the easier, lower stakes task to the lower energy hours. Match the task to the energy. When you start doing this consistently, your output in the same amount of time goes up significantly. Same hours, better results. Just because you're working with your brain instead of against it. Now it's time for some real talk. The system doesn't always hold. Life disrupts. That's not failure of the system, it's just reality. What changed for me was how I respond when a week falls apart for the rest of it. Now, when something blows up, my schedule, I do a quick reset. I look at what's left, identify the 1 or 2 things that still have to happen, and rebuild around those. Everything else gets moved or dropped without guilt. The mental strength move here is not letting one bad day become a bad week. A disrupted plan is not a failed week. It's a week where you had to adjust. Adjusting is a skill. The more you practice it, the less power a hard day has over the rest of your time. Also, build in a buffer. Don't schedule every available hour. Leave breathing room so that when something unexpected comes up, you have somewhere to put it without blowing up the whole calendar. Here's the framework. Audit your time so you can see what you have. Protect your important blocks like appointments. Plan the week before it starts. Match your work to your energy and reset fast when things go sideways. None of this is complicated, but following through on it consistently, even when life is pulling in every direction, that is mental strength. That's the whole thing. If this was useful, hit that like button and subscribe. New video every week on mental strength, discipline, and building a life you're actually in control of. Drop a comment with your biggest time management challenge right now. I read every one. I'll see you in the next one.